Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast and YouTube channel. So glad you're here and so glad to be welcoming our guest, Hannah Lange, with us today. I know your bio is below. People can read that. Give us a little peek behind the scenes. Who is Hannah? Where are you coming from? What's your story?
Sure. So thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I love talking about what I do. So anytime I get the chance to, I definitely always say yes. So, like you said, my name is Hannah. I am from a small town in Minnesota called Painesville, about a town of 2,500 people. So grew up there, came to Fargo, North Dakota for college, went to NDSU, got a degree in finance and economics. But while I was at NDSU, I was really involved with the entrepreneurship community and also helping to empower women to grow in their careers. And so me and a friend started NDSU's Women in Business organization. And then we also helped start the NDSU's venture capital fund. And so have some experience with venture capital and female entrepreneurs through that. So then it was December of my senior year of college, and my current boss asked me out for coffee. And I thought, we're just gonna, network and whatnot. Well, he sat me down and he said, Hannah, I'm gonna hire you. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. So I started my job at the North Dakota Development Fund on March 2nd of 2020. So 2 weeks before the pandemic started. So I was tossed right into the heat of things. And what the development fund does is we do small business financing. And so I was bombarded with all the things. So I learned fast, made a lot of mistakes, but also, I grew a lot. I tell people I grew up 10 years in about 2 months. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that background. I know we're going to get to some really awesome information that you have and insight that you have based on what's available from the government. A lot of people, through COVID thought of PPP loans and that kind of thing. And a lot of people are starting to think that's done because like everyone's kind of over COVID, and all of that, like there must not be any more opportunities. And I want to dig into that, some of the opportunities that are coming soon and like how you're preparing for that as well. But take us back a little bit. I want to dig into your time in university and being part of this entrepreneurship community. Did you grow up around entrepreneurs? Was this something you encountered? And if it was something like totally new, what was that mindset shift like? Would love to just hear a little bit more about that part too.
Yeah, so my dad owned a gas station when I was a kid. And so I was always around, it wasn't really an entrepreneur, like we're always starting things where I was innovating. It was just like business owner being scrappy, working super hard, working long hours, having to work weekends. And so I grew up around hard work. And so I learned what it takes to run a good business and to have a family and to just work hard and provide. And so I just love that mindset. And I found that I have that mindset as well. I'm always trying to work hard and be scrappy and do what it takes to get things done. And so I just naturally gravitated towards people who are also like that. And then I just love to learn. And so whenever someone had an innovative idea, I wanted to learn more. And so I'm the person who asks a million questions. So just to be able to get to the heart of things and figure out how these people think. And yeah, so just naturally gravitated towards that.
Gotcha. And then, so when I hear like investing club, I think is what you called it. I think, people that are picking stocks, bonds, mutual funds, but somehow you got from there to venture capital and investing in startups and helping get that started at your university. What was that journey like?
Yeah, so I actually was in a club where we did equity research. And so we were picking stocks, and that was fun. But like it was an idea that was already, proven out, and you're kind of just following what was on Bloomberg, and it wasn't that interesting. And so I just wanted to know about what's the next big thing, what's the next thing coming. And so naturally that goes towards startups who are innovating. And we did not have a lot of startup activity in the Midwest and Fargo in general.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, North Dakota actually has 0 venture capital firms right now.
Wow.
which is very sad, and it kind of makes it tough to do business or to grow a startup here because the
Mhm.
access to capital seems like it's not there, but we'll jump into that later about how we will have lots of capital coming soon. And so we decided, well, let's change that. And so us being or me and my friends being students and thinking that we could rule the world, we decided to do it. And so we sat down and just honestly wrote up a business plan of how we were going to do it, pitched it to NDSU's foundation board, and they started helping us fundraise, and we got some money together. And now the students who took it over after I left have made a couple investments. So it's changing that mindset about startup culture. And because in the Midwest, I mean, we don't really think about startups. We think about running your family business,
Mhm.
and you're going to run that forever and you're going to pass it on. And so we wanted to change that narrative, especially in the Fargo area.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. I worked in the nonprofit sector back in the day, and I remember learning because the nonprofit that I was part of was a national nonprofit, but I was in the Midwest division, and I was on the fundraising team. And
Mhm.
it was so surprising to me to learn how much wealth there really is in the Dakotas with these family farms. And there's lots of concentrated wealth in certain areas
Mhm.
that there seem now putting on my like entrepreneurship, kind of hat. It's like, dude, that wealth could be mobilized in some really powerful ways to do some really cool stuff in the Dakotas and then throughout the Midwest to get some fresh ideas and businesses started that
Mhm.
no matter what happens to farming in the future, which I hope it thrives, but can diversify some of the businesses and income strategies for those communities. Is that kind of how you think about it too?
Definitely. We wanted to get to the goal of like the fund is just to make venture capital more normalized and
Mhm.
so people learn about it. And so we need these, high net worth individuals who are super smart and have a ton of experience in their field to be angels.
Yeah.
And angels are what's going to drive this economy in the future. I mean, if we don't have that early stage capital, we have nothing. And so that's really what the goal is. And honestly, what my job is right now is to help drive that,
Mhm.
get people interested in investing in our future as a state, our future as a country, and then to also help, make North Dakota a better place to be. And that's what honestly all state agencies are trying to do, is to make their state the best place for startups to come, because every state wants businesses there. And I think that's an important thing for entrepreneurs to know, is that your community wants you there and your state wants you to be there. And so there's a lot of things out there to help you, and you just need to know the right place to go, because you don't have to go to the traditional places to get money anymore. There are a lot of things out there to help you. Sometimes they are just a little bit hard to find.
Mhm.
State
Yeah. Let's jump into this. And I want to let folks know you're going to talk about North Dakota, but a lot of what's available there are available in other states. But do you want to let people know, like, let's say you're an accredited investor, you live somewhere else, you could join up and look at, there could be some interesting, unique opportunities when you look outside of the coast or outside of Texas, right? In terms
Yeah.
of startup culture. And then also, if you're looking to start up a company and you're thinking of working with your own state, or you're open to exploring where would be a good state to start your business, I think what you share will help us see it could be any state. It doesn't have to be California or New York or Texas or what have you.
Yeah.
So that's part of why I was really excited to talk to somebody from North Dakota about these things.
So North Dakota is a great place to do business. We have a lot of companies coming here because of our awesome incentives and our state financing packages. So I'll talk a little bit about the programs that we have right now that
Yeah,
your listeners might find interesting, and then I'll move into SSBCI. So
perfect.
right now, North Dakota has a program called LIFT. So LIFT stands for Innovation Loan Technology Program, and we offer a 0% low interest or 0% loan for 5 years. So it's 0% interest for the first 3 years, 2% interest only payments for the last 2 years, and then no personal guarantee, no collateral.
Wow.
And it's for IP commercialization. And so if you're developing something really innovative, you can apply to this fund. The caveat is you have to be a North Dakota business. So we have LIFT, and then we also have the North Dakota Development Fund, which is what I manage. And so we're a flexible gap financer. And so I can do debt and equity investing up to $3 million in North Dakota businesses. So we're here to fill gaps. We don't compete with the private sector, but let's say you're raising your seed round and you're raising on a convertible note, and you have private investors who are willing to give you $500,000, but you need another $500,000 to close your round. That's where the development fund can come in. And so we exist to help get deals done and to get companies across that finish line or get them to that next stage of financing. And then we also have a lot of other programs for industry specific things like energy. Our state's really focused on energy. And so we have this fund called the CC Fund, Clean Sustainable Energy Authority is what it stands for. But that offers loans and grants to large energy projects. We have a lot of ag funding projects. And then, another awesome thing is North Dakota has the only state-owned bank. And so we kind of have our own Federal Reserve. And so they have amazing programs for companies. They're all accessed through your local bank. But yeah, great programs. So we're definitely blessed to have that in the state as well.
Cool. Can we go back to the development fund?
Yeah.
Where I imagine when most people hear how you described that, raising seed funding, they're starting to picture Shark Tank-esque pitches, and you're sitting there in a room, maybe with your colleagues, and hearing these pitches and deciding whether to invest or not. Is that what it looks like? Is there piles and piles of paperwork? How do people go about finding out if they can apply for this kind of thing? And then what's the application process like?
Yeah. So whenever you think of government, you probably think of paperwork. And that's true to an extent, but it's really not that bad. So essentially what would happen is you'd sit down and have a meeting with me, you'd pitch your company, and you tell me a little bit about yourself, I'd tell you about what the development fund does, and then we determine if the development fund is a fit or not. And if it's not, I would help connect you to other resources that might be a fit at this point. And in North Dakota, we're relationship based. And so even if I'm not a fit for you, I'm still going to keep up that relationship going forward because I want you to do business in North Dakota, and everyone within the state is here to support you. And so whatever we can do to help get you across the finish line and help you succeed, we're going to do that. And I think that's super unique because a lot of states are a lot bigger. We're so small. You're one or two people are removed from anyone. Like everyone knows everyone. It's the truth here, which is amazing when you're trying to build a business. So yeah, essentially pitch to me. I'll ask you some questions. We'll determine if it's a fit. And if it's a fit, you'd submit an application, just a 1-page application. And then your financial projections, business plan, financials, tax returns, that kind of stuff, whatever you'd submit to a bank, really. And then you get put in line because we're a first come, first serve fund. We're a revolving fund. We don't get money every year. And so once I get your application, I'm the one who does all the underwriting. And so we'd help structure the deal. We'd work with all your financing partners to kind of put all the puzzle pieces together. And we'll walk you through the process the whole way. Like I said, we're here to support you. And so we want to see it succeed. So we're kind of like that technical assistance partner as well. Yeah. And then once we have everything put together, pitch it to our board, and then they make the ultimate decision.
Okay. And it sounds like you're there all throughout the process. It really is relational and has that high human touch, which I know is true for a lot of funding sources out there for small local businesses within cities and within states. So I want to encourage folks, if you think that a program like this would be worth looking into, don't let paperwork or fear of being a number in a system stop you from doing that. You might build some relationships that even if you don't get the deal, right, could really impact your business going forward.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay. Now, speaking of going forward, let's get to the SSBI. Did I get that right?
SSBCI.
BCI. See, the government and their acronyms, I always get them mixed up. You're going to have to break this down for us.
Awesome. Yeah. So SSBCI is a program that was written into law through the CARES Act last year. So essentially, the federal government set aside $10 billion for states to invest in startups and small businesses within their states. And so each state got an allocation based on their 2020 unemployment numbers. North Dakota being a small state and having very low unemployment, we got the minimum amount, which is $56 million. Still a ton of money.
It's a lot.
And so each state is tasked with putting together programs for their state. And so state of North Dakota tasked the Department of Commerce, who tasked me as the development fund to come up with all of these programs. And so we've developed 2 programs through North Dakota. We are doing a direct investment program and an angel match program. And so states can decide to do venture capital investing, or they can do debt programs as well. So it can be pretty innovative across the board, and states just kind of have to figure out what their markets need. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we don't have very much venture capital within the state. And so this is definitely a gap that we're trying to fill, and hopefully filling it with this program.
Yeah. And this is like very new, right? The states are still figuring out what they're doing. We haven't even, when we're recording this in September, we haven't even hit the deadline for the states to say, this is what we're doing, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. Some states have gotten their allocations already. North Dakota has not. We're working with Treasury, and so they have to review all of our applications and get all their ducks in a row, which everyone knows working with federal programs, there's a lot of paperwork and it takes a long time. So hoping that we'll have it all fleshed out within the next month or 2. So gotcha. For anyone, depending on what state you're in, I would suggest just going to your state's website and Googling State Small Business Credit Initiative and seeing what comes up, because they'll probably have some information out there on that already.
Yeah. And what's the goal of these funds? You mentioned unemployment. Is this to keep employees? Is this to help with hiring? Is it just to further business overall?
Yeah, it's essentially just support startups and small businesses to spur economic growth. These funds are meant to be revolving. And so we want to get our money back and have a lasting program. So hoping these funds last forever.
Gotcha. And is it revolving in the sense of like debt or equity, or is it like because of state revenues increasing that comes back? How does that work?
So yeah, if a state's doing a loan program, as those loan payments are being repaid, the money will be lent out again. Okay. So that's how we're thinking about revolving funds. But definitely when states are thinking about making an investment in the company, they're going to think about, okay, what is the economic impact this is going to have on our state? What kind of jobs are you bringing to the state? How many jobs? How much revenue are you going to generate every year? Because the revenue you generate will generate tax revenue for the state as well. And so when you're pitching yourself to these state entities, keep those things in mind and think about, what does my state really care about? What are their main focus areas right now? We obviously care about every single business, but North Dakota's focus areas right now are energy, just given our geography, and biotechnology and ag tech are 3 of the core areas that we're really focusing on. And so if you can lean into what your state is really passionate about at this point in time, that can also really help your case.
Great. This has been really insightful. If anything, I hope folks are taking out of this that your government has people like Hannah that you can talk to and you can work with. It's not some hard to talk to, gonna look down on you politician who's, gonna not answer your questions. It's someone like Hannah. And so that was like my main thing of bringing Hannah here to you all, is so that you feel like you could look into some of these things for your businesses. You could reach out to your city and state folks to look into this. And it's the Small Business Credit Initiative. There we go.
You can read all about it in the CARES Act online if you just Google CARES Act.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to put some links in the description below to help give you some shortcuts there. Awesome. Hannah, what else did you want to make sure that you share with the business owners and entrepreneurs that are watching and listening right now?
Yeah, I would say reach out to your local business or government officials. And if you have a local economic development corporation, go reach out to them, meet with them, ask them all the questions, because truly every community should want to help grow their businesses. And so if you aren't feeling supported, that's not a good sign. You should feel supported by the community that you're in, because business is what's driving this economy. If you're a business owner, you are important, you are needed, and we care about you and we want to help you succeed. And so make those connections, find the people that support you, and then look into government funding resources because they're out there. They're there for you, and don't let paperwork scare you. It's worth it. Trust me.
Great. And if you're watching this years after it's aired, remember those funds are supposed to be revolving. So they're still there. It's
Yes.
never too late to take action. But also, if you're watching this right when it airs, take action so you can be some of the first users of those funds as well.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks so much, Hannah. Really appreciate your insight here and this breaking news that we get to help make sure more and more people know about, because it's really these kinds of programs that feed into our small businesses within our local communities that's really going to make the world a better place and do things like solve wealth inequality within our neighborhoods and where we live. So I really appreciate you bringing this to us, and I know it's going to change the world for all of us here within the US. And of course, as we thrive, the whole world will too. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amanda.